different prep lists and produce prep lists. That's the version that needs to be isolated from everything else.
Hey everybody, Mr. Knife Fanatic here. Today we have the Masakage Mizu 210mm Gyuto. Masakage is one of the newest makers on the website. They are one of my favorite new makers on the website. They have excellent fit and finish, perform very well, and have some of the best out-of-the-box sharpness I've ever seen. So here's the specs and cutting performance. We have Aogami number 2 or Hitachi Blue number 2 core at 62 to 64 Rockwell. Blue steel is going to have more alloys than white steel and will hold an edge a little bit longer. And at 62 to 64 Rockwell is a little bit harder than you normally see it. It's going to take a little bit steeper of an edge and have great wear resistance. The Karrueche Finish, which is also the reason it's called the Mizu, is a little bit different than some others. It has a nice bluish tint to it, if you can see there, and Mizu actually stands for water. It's supposed to give the impression of deep cold water. This is an excellent Karrueche Finish. A lot of Karrueche Finish knives tend to not have as good of fit and finish as this does, and they certainly took no corners were cut when they made this knife. Definitely rounded up here in the maki, really nice on both sides. The spine has been eased and the grind is perfect on it. The handle is an oval handle. This is made out of cherry wood, good for ambidextrous or left and right hand users. And has a very good fit and finish. Has a resin ferrule on it with a little marble color. I actually like that, it's very attractive looking. And if we move the coin out of the way here, we'll go ahead and take this off now. All Masakages come with their little decorative coin. Nice little touch I like a lot. If you can see, fit and finish in here, everything's perfectly sealed up, nice and tight. So this would be very, very moisture resistant. Blade length is 217 millimeters and the height is 47 millimeters. This is sold as a 210, getting just a little bit more money for your blade, but also keep in mind this is a handmade knife and a little bit of variation may occur in the length. So I'll put a ruler up on this for you to give you some perspective. I love this swept heel back, by the way. You can see, put that on there, and the tip comes to about 217. And also the height. Can show you that. Okie dokie. Next we have the spine coming a little bit over 3 millimeters, and I say 3 plus because this is going to differ slightly on each knife as it comes directly out of the tang, just like with all Karrueche knives, or 90% of Karrueche knives I've handled. They're going to be very thick coming out of the tang, and then it tapers down right over the heel here. You're getting into 2.5 millimeters, about right here into the blade. It maintains around 2 millimeters all the way up into the tip here. You do have a little bit stronger of a grind here. As you can see, the convex towards the tip gets very, very thin. Maybe not quite as thin through here as some other blades, but this is going to give you a lot of rigidity when you're going into harder ingredients with the tip. So that's actually a good thing for a lot of people. At 184 grams for a 210, this is a medium weight knife, bordering medium heavy, and the way it actually feels, see the balance point should be quite forward on this knife. Let's see here. Where are we at? Yes, a little bit more forward than I've seen some other 210s, but yet again, this is right in front of your pinch grip, so it's going to give you great chopping action, even in a pinch grip. The grind is 50-50. I call it flat convex. 50-50 means it's great for both left, right hand users. And if you can see the flat convex, they're basically a flat grind up here that tapers down slowly, and you also get a bit of a shoulder here, and this is kind of flattened with a light convex going on. So this should have relatively good non-stick properties and chop very well. So we're going to get some ingredients on the board and see how she chops. Yet again, as I said before, Masakage has some of the best out-of-the-box sharpness I've ever seen. These knives do not need to be sharpened whatsoever out of the box. So here we go. Nice. Flips through very nice. Lifts the finger just a touch because it was a little bit thicker through here, but the grind was done very well, so it still slides through with no trouble. See how she penetrates? Still very, very good. The sharpness of the edge really is helping it glide right through there without much trouble at all. Very, very stiff feel to this knife. It has a very, very rigid feel. I think this would do good in a prep kitchen. I really would like this as a real good prep knife. It has a very, very thin grind right behind the edge, just like all Masakages. Gets a little bit thicker up into the body than a laser would. As I said, this is a medium action or medium weight knife. Very good. Alrighty, very nice. Has a very, very powerful chop to it. This little bit of extra blade weight. For a 210, this thing chops a little bit more like a 240 chops, the way it's weighted. I like that, personally. I love to chop. As you know, you see me chop in a lot of videos. Maybe not all users like to chop as much as I do. That's a personal preference. If you like to do rock cuts, we'll show you the rocking profile here. I'm actually able to get pretty far until you get into the tip. Let's see here. About 3 inches worth underneath the back of the heel there. So, the rest of this onion off the board. We have a few more ingredients to take care of real quick. Bell pepper here. Out of the box sharpness. I mean, you can see it pushes straight through the bell pepper with no trouble whatsoever. Ta-da! Very nice. Yes, maybe I wasted a little bit there. I don't want to hear it in the comments later, guys. So I'll show you the rocking profile here a little bit. Rocks very, very well. Very smooth on the board. Normally these Masakage knives have been so thin behind the edge and so sharp that they were sticking into the board. This one is borderline sticking into the board, so helps me a lot. I just want to let you know that it's melting the bell pepper out. Extremely sharp again. Very nice grind. And we'll chop this last little bit here. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. This thing chops excellent. Let's see here. We'll do a little bit of no hand. Didn't miss a bit. Excellent. And we'll go ahead and chop the last little bit here. I have a piece of celery to work on next. No sticking at all to be had on lower ingredients. This convex on the lower half does provide great food release. Small note on this knife too, I did not quite point out before. Some Karrueche knives, or knives that come from Japan that will oxidize, carbon steel knives, will have a little light coat of lacquer on the blade. This one actually does have that coat of lacquer. It is one of the first blades I've actually handled to have it. This will wear off over time, I do believe. It's really nothing to be worried about. You can get rid of it with a little acetone, I believe, maybe lacquer thinner when you first get the knife. Just be careful not to remove any of the Karrueche finish if you are going to go that route. Generally, you don't really have to fool with it a whole lot. The steering should be very good on this knife. Perfect 50-50 grind. And with a nice rigid spine, it will follow exactly where you tell it to go. And it does quite well. Really, celery is a good way to test out if your grind is going to roll, if you have a 50-50 grind or not. Because as you're cutting the right side, it's going to roll this way, and as you get to the other side, it's going to tend to want to roll off. If you've, you cut celery at home, you know what I'm talking about. Very, very nice. I'll do a little bit of chopping with the tip here, as you can see. Nice gentle flat here, gentle curve up tip, up top, and we should get a good bit of chopping action here. Let's see. Very nice. You can do push cuts too, if you like to do push cuts, pull cuts. Chop our celery very fine. Let's get rid of the last bit of celery. A little more rocking for you. I'll choke back so you can see the knife rock. Extremely nice chopper. I think through taller ingredients, you may, such as a butternut squash, you may notice the grind get thicker more than a laser type knife, but as a medium weight, I expect it to just kind of go through things. Let's see. Pushes through quite easy. As you can see, we only had a little minimal sticking there after it got super wet. Very nice, and we'll just peel the top half of this and be done. You can see this knife was sharpened nice and thin as it grabs the potato skin very well. Actually a little bit rusty here, but very nice. Very, very thin grind behind the edge. Performs excellent. Very good sharpness, just like all other Masakages. Excellent fit and finish, just like all other Masakages. What can I say else good about Masakage knives? Well, guys, I hope this gave you a good perspective of how the knife performs. Please, if you have any questions, join us on Chef Knives to Go forum. So stay tuned and stay sharp.